Welcome to our next edition of our Foundation Speaker Series. My name is Michelle Warofka. As high school students begin to think about the next step after graduation, it can often be very scary and overwhelming. Ultimately, it is important for students to think about their academic and personal goals for their future and how they can best reach them. In doing so, some may realize college is an important step for them to take in order to meet their goals. If so, choosing the right college is a crucial step. So today, we have two college admissions counselors with us who are going to walk us through the all-important college search process and share with our viewers some very important factors to consider. We have Miss Lauren Crouse and Mr. Kevin Hooker here with us today. Lauren is an alumni from Pennsylvania College of Technology, where she majored in Applied Human Services. During her time in undergraduate degree, she fell in love with working within higher education and went on to get her master's in educational leadership with a concentration in higher education. Kevin is a graduate of West Virginia University, where he majored in journalism. After working in media for a couple of years, Kevin discovered his true passion was working closely with high school students and helping them further their education. Both Lauren and Kevin are admissions counselors at Lycoming College in Williamsport, Pennsylvania. So without further ado, I'm going to turn it over to Kevin and Lauren. Welcome.
Thank you, Michelle. Very happy to be here today. Again, folks, my name is just Kevin Hooker. I'm one of the counselors at Lycoming. I've been part of the staff since last August, so happy to be here today.
Thanks, Kevin and Michelle. My name's Lauren Crouse, as Michelle mentioned. I just started at Lycoming this summer, and I'm really excited for Kevin and I to kind of talk to you about finding your perfect college. So to kind of get started, one of the things that we wanted to start with our presentation is kind of talking about how important it is that you make your decision on your educational and experience. When you're at college or a university, you're going to be there for the next 2 to 5 years. And while family members and friends are going to have a lot of opinions to share with you, it's really important that you take ownership and follow your instincts on what you are looking for in your experience. So some of the things that we want to point out to you is the difference between public versus private institutions. What that essentially just means is the type of funding that they receive. Public universities receive state funding from the government, versus public colleges usually receive most of their funding through endowments and other ways of fundraising. A big portion of what you can see during these differences is the population and student ratio. In public universities and colleges, the class sizes are much larger and the population overall is bigger, versus a private institution is usually smaller with a smaller ratio within the classroom. Another big part of this is the tuition. Tuition can look very differently between the two. Public usually has a lower tuition, being that they are provided funding through the state, versus private can look more expensive, but you're able to get more scholarships and different things like that. Another piece that you should be looking into is if you're looking for a technical degree versus a liberal arts degree. Technical school degrees are usually about 2 years with certifications versus a liberal arts degree or a university, you're looking at 2 to 4 years and a more well-rounded education. Okay, so another piece of it is you need to look at where you want to live. Some students look at it from a place of where they live, where they went to high school, and then veer out. Some students want to be an hour from home, some want to be flight distance from home. And so you got to think about that, what's best for you. Do you want to commute or do you want to live on campus? Did you grow up in a small town and now you want to be in a big city, or you grew up in a big city and now you want to be in a small town? A big piece of what some people like to look at is the amenities in the community. Are you somebody who likes a Target or those kind of things, and making sure that you have what you need? Or if you're someone who really likes rural areas where you have opportunities to go hiking and those kind of things, making sure that you're paying attention to them. Another piece is accessibility to campus, no matter how far you are. Transportation, whether you do have a car or you don't, if you are able to fly or not fly home, but also the community transportation, if that is something that you're looking for. For example, here in the Williamsport area, we do have a bus system that our students get for free, as well as other colleges in the area. So those are just some areas that you can think about and make sure that you are really planning on your needs. So what are some of the options for living on or around campuses? Within higher education, we talk about living on campus as a really essential piece for you to get not only know your classmates and your cohort, but also upperclassmen. You're really engaged in the campus community. And the other piece, when you're looking at colleges or university, asking the question, is campus housing guaranteed, if that's something that you want to do? For some campuses, you might need to live off campus because the need for living on campus is very different. Another piece that students really look at is the type of residence halls that are on campus. Those can be singles, doubles, quads, apartment, suite style, looking at all those things that you want to be involved in. Another piece is proximity to class and dining. At larger universities and colleges, you might be really far from your class, but students like that so they can kind of get their walk in, or some students want to be close. And so kind of determining what you are looking for within that space. Some of the other things is, you know, what are you going to go to school for? That big piece of the educational experience that you're going to have. And so understanding between the differences that you are looking at and asking the question, what are they offering for me? Different institutions do majors, minors, different programs, certification. Some students want a double major. If that's something that you're interested in, you need to ask those questions. Can you customize your degree? So for example, we don't have an education degree here at Lycoming, but we do get you certified and ready to go. So you could major in history and then become a history teacher, but that option gives you the chance to, if you get into the school system after graduating and it's not something that you're interested in, you can go back into, you know, doing that with history. Looking at the type of faculty that are at a university or college and understanding, you know, if there's somebody that's part-time or full-time, what those professors have done and those kind of things. And also understanding where the challenge falls within your level of learning. And so how does that impact your learning in the classroom? Okay, so other pieces, college is not only about sitting in the classroom. There's a big piece of what can you learn outside of the classroom. And so I think it's really important that we've talked about is understanding if there's opportunities for internship in the local area or even abroad, and getting those extra credits that you need and also getting paid or not paid depending on the field that you're in. Are you interested in studying abroad? What does that look like? Research, if you are potentially wanting to get into research, is that available within the university or college that you're looking at? And also a big piece to ask for question is, what does the career support look like? Do they have a career center where they're able to help you with your resume, finding an internship, but also practicing those interview skills is a big question. Some other things that's really important is the resources that are available to you. College can be a huge transition going from high school, and what are those resources to help you? So asking if the college has really good tutoring, academic support, writing centers. If you're somebody that needs the disability support, what does that look like at the college or university? And asking those questions. The other things is, if you are living on campus, what does that look like from the residential staff? Are they to support you if you're struggling? And what does the college do to really help you thrive at that university or college? The other piece is counseling support. Again, college can be a very stressful time, and what does that look like from the support of the university? I think, Kevin, you're going to jump in on this one?
Yeah, so I'll take it from here, Lauren.
Okay.
All right. So ways you can get involved on campus. So for all my athletes out there who are maybe interested in playing a sport in college, certainly possible for you to do. It would just be, obviously something you have to arrange with the coach, and he'd have to kind of recruit you onto the team. Couple of different options for you, sort of depending on the size of the school. It can be a Division III school, or all the way up to more the elite Division I, bigger universities. So Lycoming College, for example, is a Division III school. We have over 15 NCAA sports. But for students who are maybe not interested, maybe playing a sport at the super competitive NCAA level, there's certainly options for you to still get involved in sports, whether it be through intramural sports or club sports. Also a great way to get involved, meet some kids on campus that have sort of similar interests to you. So think maybe intramural flag football, intramural basketball, intramural slow pitch softball. So again, just sort of ways to kind of get involved, get some experience, outside of the classroom, and have some fun on campus too. Clubs in Greek life, like I had mentioned, are also a real big way to kind of get involved in campus. Lycoming College, for example, has over 80 clubs and organizations that our students get involved in, that are mostly, academic based, social based, outdoor leadership based. So again, just sort of a way to be well rounded. Meet some people on campus. A lot of these schools too, sort of depending on the size of them, also offer campus sponsored trips and events. So maybe think like Broadway trips, New York City trips, and a lot of these trips are free for students. So again, just sort of a way to get off campus. Obviously the academic aspect is a huge part of college, but we also want you to have fun on campus too. So lots of ways to do just that. So you visited the college, you've liked what you've seen, you've been accepted, and now you have to ask the big question of, how am I going to be able to afford all this? Certainly reasonable. College is definitely expensive. So, you want to make sure you're asking those right questions, speaking with the admissions counselors at, high school visits or college fairs. So some popular questions that might come up are, what are sort of maybe your merit-based scholarships? What are maybe some ways that you can, reduce the cost of college? So a lot of colleges, especially small liberal arts schools, will offer, merit-based need for students, sort of depending on, how they did in high school. So maybe if you, had stronger SAT scores, or if you had stronger, GPA, class ranking, maybe you'd get more merit-based need than, somebody who had lesser scores. At the same point too, a lot of schools also offer, in addition to scholarships, a lot of need-based financial aid. So when you do go to apply for schools, be sure to also fill out the FAFSA. That's the free application for federal student aid. And that'll really kind of give you a customized package based on your family income. So a lot of schools, depending on what your need is, will maybe offer more grant money, will offer maybe additional scholarships that maybe someone who is maybe more a little bit, more well off wouldn't maybe get. And a lot of schools will also offer athletic scholarships. So particularly Division I and Division II schools will give students further scholarships for athletics. Division III schools, unfortunately, are not able to offer this sort of luxury. So again, just something to kind of keep in mind. And it's also worth noting too that students who do attend the PFEW at Lycoming College, or who were interested in attending the PFEW but were unable to attend this year because of the coronavirus, will be eligible for an additional $5,000 scholarship. And that'll be renewable all 4 years, so you won't have to worry about losing that. So it's just a great sort of, another way to kind of get involved, and you'll be rewarded with $20,000 over those 4 years, which is always good. So what are your options for visiting? So the visit is really the most important part of the whole process, right? Because without really visiting campus and asking those in-person questions and really kind of seeing the place for yourself, you're never really going to know if this is the best place for you. So I always encourage students to attend open houses or attend regular visits. Be sure to see that campus in person, ask those questions. A real good benefit to personalized and more individualized visits is you can really kind of custom tailor the day for you. So if you want to maybe sit in on a class, or if you want to meet with an intern, someone in an internship office, or if you want to get some experience, hear some perspective from a student on campus, certainly be options for you. So, again, this is a big investment. It's a big decision. So, be sure you're getting out there and seeing schools and asking questions and, making sure that this is the place that's going to be home for the next 4 years. And, and don't be afraid to visit more than once. When I decided to attend West Virginia, I think I visited the school 3 times. So don't be afraid to visit a couple times. Like I said, this is a big investment. You want to make sure all your ducks are kind of in a row. So how do you apply to colleges? So a lot of colleges across America will go through the Common application. So to set up for that, you would just have to go to commonapp.org and kind of set up with a profile. Some students also apply through the Coalition application, but that's mostly for students who are out in the Maryland area and wouldn't really affect students here in Pennsylvania. And then just some also requirements to kind of keep in mind. Most schools will kind of have the same requirements. So in addition to the application, they'll ask you for your transcript, they'll ask you for your SAT scores, they'll ask you for maybe a couple letters of recommendation, as well as the application essay. So that's pretty much going to be consistent, regardless of which college you apply to. Just maybe the threshold for acceptance at colleges might differentiate a little bit. And then just some application deadlines to kind of keep in mind. There's early decision, there's early action, and there's regular decision. Most students will go the early action or regular decision route, meaning that they will start applying to schools probably like the middle part of December, and they'll kind of have a decision for them, by the holiday time. So they'll have lots of time to still visit schools and kind of, visit other schools before making that May 1 official deadline. There are some students who do go early decision, but that's more of a binding contract, and it is something that the student and the counselor would have to agree that if I do go this way, then I will ultimately go to the school. But like I said, most students will go early action, regular decision. So if you can get those applications out by the middle part of December, you'll be in great shape. So just some things to remember, be sure to start your process early. There's never, it's never too early to start looking to schools. I always tell students, if you can get out and maybe visit some colleges this summer before senior year, I think you'll be in great shape. I mean, I obviously know that this summer might be a little bit different with visiting colleges, but you can never start your process too early. And also be sure to check your email. A lot of these colleges who are visiting locally or maybe coming to your high school will send you emails and say, hey, I'm coming by your high school. If you want to stop in and maybe ask some questions, that would be a great opportunity for you to do so. And also, don't be afraid to use your resources. Online is a great tool. Colleges have websites set up. So if you wanted to maybe get some more information, if you weren't able to visit the campus or meet with someone in admissions, be sure to check out their website. For us, lycoming.edu is a great resource where you can check out our majors. You can hear more about our campus life, hear more about financial aid. So again, just don't be afraid to use your resources. And be sure also to, talk to your high school guidance counselor. My mom is actually a high school guidance counselor, and she's always dealing with students asking questions about colleges. And so those resources are there for you. So don't be afraid to, ask your guidance counselor questions, ask if she can maybe read over your application essay, or, again, just don't be afraid to use those resources, because they're there to help you. But ultimately, this is your decision. So, I know your parents might give you some pressure about going to a school, but ultimately this is going to be your decision. So be sure to, again, make those visits, ask those questions. Try not to rely on other people's influence too much, because, again, you want to be comfortable with the school that you're going to be for the next 4 years. So try not to listen to a lot of outside pressure and go with your instinct. And again, just if you do have any additional questions, especially at some of these smaller schools, we work really close with our students one-on-one. So don't be afraid to reach out to your admissions representative or send an email to a school. Like I said, being these small schools, we work really closely with students and get right back to them. So don't be afraid to call, email, or most importantly, visit the campus. And again, just make sure it's all good for you. So with that, Michelle, I'll hand it over to you. I'll hand it over to you at this point.
Yes, wonderful. Thank you. Thank you both, Kevin, Lauren, for navigating us through this often unnerving process for so many students and their families. You've provided some great information today that I believe will not only prove to be very helpful to our viewers as they take their next step, but hopefully to also help put their mind at ease, at least a little bit, as they embark on this next chapter. So thank you again, Kevin and Lauren, for joining us here today.
Thank you.
Pleasure. If you'd like to reach out to Kevin and Lauren, stay tuned as their contact information will follow at the conclusion. Thanks for watching.